Hello everybody, good evening, welcome. It is indeed 1900 hours and here we are. We're back and hopefully you didn't all miss me too much while I was away. Hi Rosa, it's good to see you on. Thanks for being here. Hopefully also nobody blew their accounts in my absence. It's only been a week, so I'm hopeful. Good question came in just before my break. Hi Scott, hi Peter, nice to see you on. Yeah, good question came in just before my break. Good but old. We have covered this before, but there's no harm giving it another look and adding the title to the YouTube video for future searches. Remember those levels that we look at or look for at 14:26 hours, 4 minutes before the US Open, the 4-minute warning levels for the breakout short or long. Someone was looking for rules or guidelines around how we identify them. So here we go today with as much information as is possible to share in a publicly shared YouTube video. Those of you who are members and regular attendees of the full sessions will know what this is. Would this work for the lob? It's the same for all of those breakouts, Peter. Yeah, pretty much. Oh, also I have a theory to share and I think this might be helpful and it will become apparent why. No other species on this planet other than us, humanity, endures or suffers from the effects of boredom. Boredom is relevant to us as traders since it causes so many issues. Perhaps then it is boredom, not intelligence, that has sent us weaving our way up the evolutionary ladder. If indeed up is the correct description of our direction. There are indeed arguments against the idea of the direction of up. Intelligence, in fairness then, seems quite rare because of humanity's need for repeated wars, repeated mistakes, repeated actions of self-harm or self-sabotage. Lest we forget, every year we say, and we remember, and we buy poppies, etc. But we forgot. Because we still make more reasons for more wars. And yes, it might not be you or me, but it certainly are or is a politician somewhere in the bloody world, isn't it? Which is probably why I have so little time for any of them. As traders then, lest we forget that we have rules to keep us safe. I'm here generally to bark them at you all from time to time. But before I do, I would like to, if I may, is she on? No, she isn't. Well, I would have asked permission from somebody who shares in the group the Saturday Ponderings. And she wrote something really, really poignant. Is that the word? Something that would, hi Judy, something that would certainly leave you very pensive anyway. And the reason it's very relevant for us is it's quite long, so I won't read the whole thing. But the last bit, it says, the lesson is there all the same. The market has a way of exposing our weaknesses and rewarding our strengths. It asks us to keep learning, to keep adapting, and above all, to keep showing up, to remain consistent, in other words, really. Perhaps that's one of the reasons I continue to enjoy it, she wrote, not because I've reached the destination, but because I'm still learning from the journey. And that's nice. She also wrote, the older I get, the more convinced I am that a good life is built from ordinary moments. Moments of curiosity, moments of learning, moments of appreciation, moments that make us glad we were paying attention. Now that's all, and you just joined, and I just read some pieces from your post, the Saturday Ponderings, which I thought were absolutely brilliant, by the way, as was Paul's. Very short, but very beautifully written. I'm not going to call it a poem. I don't know, a sentence, a passage. Beautiful. A passage is the right word for that. And thank you, Anne, for sharing them. I do look for them every Saturday, even while I'm away. And I was travelling Saturday, returning back from travels. We did the whole London experience, and that's where I get that moments of curiosity, moments of learning, moments of appreciation. It's very relevant to us as traders, because as traders, we can take the moment that we choose. Stacey was on holiday, so we took that week. We did London Centre, did lots of stuff on the trains, just because train's the easiest way to get anywhere to anywhere. We did Central London. We did Platform 9 3/4 because she's big into Harry Potter. We did the Harry Potter world, and we enjoyed it anyway. I won't go into the details, but it really was, when you just make time to enjoy quality time. Well, that's what we did. That's why I didn't work last week. I didn't take a laptop. I didn't attempt to look at a chart, although I have placed 1 or 2 trades today already, and I've made some pips, sort of in line with getting ready for the week that is to come. We are full 3 sessions tomorrow, session Wednesday, 3 sessions Thursday, session Friday. So we've got back to our full-on schedule right away, if you like. And I like to look at the charts ahead of getting back into it. I've done that today, so I'm already ready for our stuff tomorrow. Now, the topic in hand, the question that was asked was the levels we look for at 14.26. Now, obviously, everything is obvious in hindsight, isn't it? So if I take the 1 minute off and put it over there where we can see 14.26, I might go a little bit further. I'll go, there is exactly 14.26. And that is when I place those levels. Is it not? Yes, it is. Now, I do use the 1 minute, the 2 minute. I use the 5 minute, the 15 minutes. I use, as you all know, multiple time frames to place those levels. And normally I would click somewhere on a 2 minute chart and grab a line and drop it somewhere, and clone the line and drop it somewhere else. And I'd have 2 lines ready to drag and to drop ahead of 14.26. And then we'd examine the charts. We'd look for pivots, and as you can see, this one's at 14.18. We've pivoted beautifully off purple. Any sign of divergence? There's some divergence within the indicator right there. So right away we could take the line for the bottom and say, well, we'd probably need to break below that line. But remember, 14.26, price has moved up and it's moved back. So as we get to 14.26, we can say, hey, look, there's a big round number to the right. So we're probably looking at somewhere like here for the sell level, just below the 51,000. That might be the level. But you all know that I often have a bias, and I wonder, are you as familiar with how I might have the bias? Before we move forward, I'll go and show you a 5 minute chart, and that's as much as I need look at. Scroll back to the same time, and I'll ask you all, is the MACD in buy or sell mode? Is that a pivot? Is it, or was it, an anticipated pivot based on the fact that pink crossed purple, leading to a pullback? And if you were to fib that, you'd fib green to red, and you'd have 100% there. You'd probably have a 50% around about here, wouldn't you? Probably, possibly. Let's go back to the 2 minute, because it does get better. Basically, what I'm trying to tell you here is that we use, I've just dragged that line, we use for ourselves all available necessary tools, such as higher value EMAs, lines of support, there's an R2 in there, or resistance, there's a pink and a white line there. And then we can look at the 1 minute, and I hope you all know what I'm going to say next. Here it is, it's 1400. So from about 1405, 1410 to 1430, let's say 1406, because there is a beautiful 20-minute period And somebody asked, Peter asked, would this work for the lob? Well, yes, it's exactly the same. You look for the divergence, the rejection of a line, and the reason for a signal. We break through a very big round number right there before 1430, before 1426. But if we have a run of colour, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bars, and then a red, you all know what I'm going to say. What does that mean we can do now? What can we do here to best measure and manage what we might expect at the Open? And please bear in mind, we can do this at 1426, 1425, 1424. It's doable by 1424. Is someone going to type me a word? What can I do here? Anyone? A fib. Thank you, Peter. I was just about to bellow. You're all fired. You're all frickin' fired. But Peter saves the day with a fib. And here we go from the bottom, including the wick of the first in the run of colour, to the top, including the wick of the retracement bar. And I think I'm at the top there or thereabouts. There it is. Thank you. Yeah, Judy's got an excuse. She's feeding the baby. That's all right, Judy. You're one of 2 people who don't have an excuse. Peter doesn't need one. He wrote the answer. The rest of you, you're all bloody fired. Now, 1426. If we look at 1426 on here, yes, we've got a new low, very close to a big round number. We can populate that. If we look at 1426 here, oh, look, a 51040. Yeah, Robert, you're fired. You should have said fib. You're fired. 51040. We've also got a pink line. And what I might do is ask the chart, where are you, pink line? You're at 51050. Okay, then. Anne's dog is asleep on me knee and I couldn't move. To type fib, yeah, all right. So we've got a 40, a 50, and we all know about my beautiful 51060 or 5160 or 52060 or the 60s generally. So we drag him down and we have a look. What value is it pink? It's at 51047, 048. This bar here puts us up above pink, and we have a reason to think about going long up above pink over there. We missed you, says Judy. Thank you, Judy. I appreciate that. And I should mention for the recording, there is a laughter face there. So yeah, so I think the full sentence, Judy, is we all missed you, James, with every shot so far. And then we can move over here, 1426, 1430. Now, when we drag it into, oh my word, and isn't it beautiful? Here's why it's beautiful. Well, it's not quite, because I'm not quite on the top there. I am now. Am I on the bottom? I'm close enough to on the bottom there. We've got a seriously low test bar, testing the 61.8. We break above the 38.2. And if we looked at all of these light blue lines, they would be first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth target. We don't make the ninth target. We come back below the 8th target. And by here, worst case here, because that's an inside bar and we breach it, this is where I would want you out of the trade. It's where I'd be bellowing, lock in, lock in, lock in. But we draw these lines, we place along, that's 1435, man, 1 minute there, yeah, 1430, oh, it's that one, 1429, so that's the 1430 bar. We break out above 043, we break out above pink, 51050. Can I ask, is anyone brave enough to unmute and say, or confirm for me that at 1426 and in the run-up to 1430, in that 4-minute warning, do I very often say we have a risky entry at a given level and then we have the clean entry at another level? Is anyone prepared to say, yes, I concur? Anyone?
Yes, I concur.
There you go. Thanks, Anne.
Yes, I concur.
And Robert, thank you, Robert. Appreciate that. And Judy's typed yes. And I know you've got a baby with you, so we'll excuse you not unmuting. But thanks, Judy. So if we look at this now, we've got absolute reason to go in and go long. It's hopper. It's a hopper on the 2 minutes. It breaks through the levels. It's got a fib on the 2 minutes. It's got got a valid fib on the 1 minute. Pink is above purple, and it's, well, white's weaving. We'll give you that white's weaving, but we often expect that approaching the open. And then tally-ho, chaps, we get a risky long and a safe long, about the 51.05 to 60 by 60, you happy campers. And if we look at the run, it's 5 bars, so it's 5 minutes, and it's approximately 200 pips. Yes, there are places that will say, oh, we took 300 pips there, and there are brave and honest people, and I won't say brave, there are honest people like me who will say the break of the inside bar is definitely the place. You can't tolerate holding it any more than that. But not reaching 51.360 would have been a warning. Coming out at 51.3, the big round number. You all know my love of big round numbers and of 60s and of 40s and new other big round numbers. So anywhere between 200 and 250 pips is doable from the US Open on the Dow today. Now, it was a very good question. I won't lie and tell you I remember who asked it. It was asked from the Prosperity Group. We have covered it before, and the bottom line is we are attempting to make use of all available information. So the mode, be it buy mode or sell mode, the trend, then the divergence, the lines or the rejection thereof. We could look at this and say, well, it's rejected the mid-Bollinger Band, and it has, hasn't it? It's rejected the mid-Bollinger Band. It's got a deep test, a break back above, a break above purple, a break above pink, and tally-ho. It's, we could look just at the 1 minute for the fact that it's in buy hopper mode. The fact that it's in buy hopper mode and it's still a hopper, we could look at those things. We could say the same about the 2 minute, although the 2 minute it's in the 14.30. He closed at 32, remember. He opened at 30. You'd want to be in from the open of the bar. But once again, you will all remember that during our sessions, I say if it goes at 14.28, 14.29, it's too early. If you go, it's on you, and I won't blame you, but please be careful. The more experience you've got, the better, and if you lock in a little bit, it's safer. But safety is what we are most looking for. And Eric writes, that was me that asked. This is really helpful. Thanks, Eric. Well, I appreciate your question, and I appreciate you piping up now to tell me it was you that asked. I even, if someone's asked me these questions a dozen times before, it doesn't matter. I appreciate it because, there are new members joining. And when new members join, there's that information that, might be in the old archives, if you like. It won't be accessed by them as quickly and as often as I might like. So when someone asks, in fairness, let's go back. If we cast our minds back, those of you who've been with me for a long, long time, who's here? Well, Anne. And Mary. Mary's been here the longest, 2014. Mary's here. I don't know, it's not 20 years yet, is it? It's a lot though, 26, what is that, 12 years or something? Those of you who've been with me a long time, if we look, not quite, says Mary, there you go, you're right. If we looked back at sessions that are old on YouTube, I'd have to admit, for want of a better word, they're shite in comparison to what we're putting up these days. The quality is better. I've slowed down how I speak, so I'm not as excitable or excited in these YouTube sessions, and I think the message is clearer. It's also better because we're getting feedback and input from the members, and I see Paul is on, and I wanted to thank Paul for his Saturday ponderings as well, because both Anne and Paul, you've written beautiful stuff there. I really, really like. I've saved both. I'm not going to lie and say, oh yeah, that's good. I read it and then I forgot about it. I've copied it. I've pasted it into my Word document and it's there, cast in stone forever for me. All right, perhaps not cast in stone. Pasted into my Word document that I've had on the go since, I really can't remember when. There's 108 pages of it now, 79,000 words and counting. And it's really nice. Paul, your writing is beautiful. You should consider writing a book because that's quite amazing what you wrote there. If anyone's not seen it, please refer to the group post that Paul wrote Saturday and have a look. It's not the first one you've written. It's a nice one, and the last one was beautiful as well. Saved them both. Thought worth saving. Anyway, for Eric and for everybody, that's pretty much how we should go about selecting these levels. The other thing we can do is have a glance at the 4 hour for the market in question and have a look at what else. Now, if we look at that, it's 50,998 on that R2. R2 is also a pink line, which is above purple, and white is above pink and purple. And when we look, are there signs of divergence? Well, there's convergence. We've got lower lows and lower lows. If we'd have to scroll out to a daily or something to see more, but we can see the makings of what might be a teacup there. This could be the handle. For now, that bar there is the bar we'd be interested in, because he would have been the 1426 bar. And look what he's rejecting: pink and R2. If we go back to this, pink and R2 on the daily, 50,999, we're rejecting it. Remember, 50,998 was the R2 on the 4 hours. So that would be I think we use weekly levels on that. But there's my point: divergence, rejection of a line, signal. It is indeed the same thing time after time after time. The beauty of the fact that it's the same thing time after time after time is that it's repetitive. Because it's repetitive, it can be learned and practiced and put into practice on a very regular basis, as we have seen and witnessed in our sessions. Now, there you go. That's my take on how we come up with those levels at 1426 every time we are in a live US Open session. And I suppose the next question to ask for anyone again who is prepared to unmute for the YouTube recording: how many times, what kind of percentage are we right versus how many times do we get caught out? Is anyone happy to unmute and say something? Anybody? You're all still minding dogs and babies. Okay. Well, I'm going to say it, and one of you please challenge if I'm wrong.
90%? 90%?
I'd say it's higher, but I'll give you that. 90 is good enough. It's very seldom, well, it's less seldom than 10% that we get caught out, because if it doesn't do what we expect, I'm not taking that. I'm not going to play with it. If it had suddenly broke the fib and fell off the planet, not interested. It's in buy hopper mode. I'm allowed to buy. The 4 hours in buy mode, rejecting a line. I wouldn't have been able to sell that today, but I would have placed an order to buy it. Might have placed 2 at the levels. So we are right to a very high percentage. In fairness, we can't put a 90, an 80, a 100% level on it. We couldn't even put a 50% level on it. But it is much, much, much better than that. And the reason for that is I'm not one of those people who randomly makes up percentages. I would say, though, we do 2 days a week, Tuesday and Thursday, at the US Open. And we generally batter it. Nas and Dow together, we're generally counting pips and smiling lots. And getting ready to go on new holidays and stuff as well. Incidentally, yes, they're already plotting one of those just to make life difficult for me and make my scheduling a problem. It is what it is. Anyway, there you go. We're 23 minutes into the recording. I will sort of wind that down and say thank you all for watching the recording. Oh, is there any questions on setting those levels before I end the recording, and then give you the chance to ask any questions about, the regular strategy? And of course, I'll place something else with those levels then. Any questions? No? Okay. Then I'll end the recording and we can go to the sort of, the better strategy and the proper questions. And I'll say thank you all for watching. Please trade safe, and I'll see you on the next session. Bye-bye.